probably about 3 months after getting that second mini schnauzer, we realized that he wasn't mini and he wasn't a schnauzer at all. They had shaved him to look like, you know how they just like shaved like the belly or the top or something?
Yeah, so it's just like the head.
To look like a mini schnauzer, but he wasn't mini. He was 4 times as big as our mini schnauzer, and he wasn't a schnauzer at all. He's just, you know, I don't know what he is.
Some random mutt of sorts.
Some random mutt.
Let's talk tails.
Through her portrait sessions, inspirational talks, and coaching, today's guest is an award-winning portrait photographer, speaker, coach, and author dedicated to empowering women to see themselves as beautiful, confident, and whole. She creates transformative experiences where women break free from limiting beliefs and step boldly into visibility as leaders, entrepreneurs, in the face of their own brands. Known for her vulnerability and warmth, my guest isn't just about photography. It's about healing and connection. Every interaction, whether on stage, in the studio, or online, carries her mission to inspire women to celebrate their worth, amplify their voice, and thrive unapologetically. It's Karianne Mundstedt. Hi, how are you doing today?
Good. Thank you for having me, Taylor.
Thank you so much for being here. So tell me the tale that got you involved in photography. What was the first photo you ever took?
The first photo that I ever took, like, I don't even remember, but I do remember when I was, I don't know, young, 6, 7, 8, sometime in there. My grandparents, I believe, gave me a small little pink plastic camera.
Oh, that's so cute.
And I was always the one, like when we did family vacations, we'd always go to Northern California and camp on the beach. All my extended family would come, and I was always the one taking the pictures. So I do not remember at all what my first picture ever was, but I do remember that from, you know, my earliest ages, I was always the one running around with a camera in her hand.
Oh, that's excellent. So
I still have that camera too.
Do you really?
I do. I know, right?
That's amazing. You should do a little photo op with it.
I know. I really
so
do need
did
to.
you originally grow up on the West Coast then, doing California trips?
So I was born in Northern California, but very early on we moved to Oregon. Mm-hmm. And then through my dad's job change, I came to Arizona when I was 8. So I've been here for almost 40 years, but we would always, but my extended family is all in Northern California. So every summer we would jump in the Aerostar minivan and drive up to Northern California and go meet everybody on the coast and somewhere in Southern Oregon or Northern California and go camping.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And so do you remember how we first got connected and met?
I was through Nabo.
Nabo, or I honestly think you might have been doing a Take the Lead event.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Was that even before Nabo?
I want to say it might
or right around the same time.
Yeah.
You were doing the video and I was doing the photography for those, and I'm still very connected. I actually will see Gloria tomorrow. I'm photographing her tomorrow, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm still connected a lot with a lot of the people from Take the Lead.
Yeah, and so those, you know, Take the Lead and Nabo, both about empowering women and
100%.
both about, you know, helping us break through those glass ceilings.
100%.
And so tell me then, what made you decide to, you know, even for your photography, not just to focus on every event or every type of headshot, but to really focus on women?
Yeah. So, I mean, I did start off, take it back a little bit. So I was working a corporate job. I was there for 17 years in education. And, it was a great job, great pay, great benefits. But I can just look around and I'm like, what am I doing for humanity? You know, like what good am I actually doing for the world? And so I kind of, remembered back to, and I had gotten away from photography a lot.
Okay.
Because, we get older and we kind of get away from those things that bring us joy as kids and stuff like that, right? So we can kind of move away from it. And so I kind of remembered, photography brings me joy. So I picked up my camera again and I started off doing all the things, right? Taking pictures of babies and families and parks and all the things. And, it's great and there's a place for it, but it just wasn't what was, really fulfilling my soul. And so I was building my website and my social media at that time, and I realized that I didn't have any pictures of myself because I had gained a lot of weight over a number of years, and I shied away from the camera all the time. Anytime the camera was turned on me, I was either hiding behind someone or I was wearing baseball caps and big bulky clothes and really just trying to hide. So I was like, okay, clearly I need some pictures of myself. So I had learned through I think just through serendipity of this photographer named Sue Bryce, who was out in LA, and she happened to be offering a workshop that I could do pictures of myself at the end. And so I went to that workshop, and then I went into that photo session, and I was very scared to do pictures of myself because it was like, gosh, why am I investing all this money in myself? You know, I'm overweight. I don't have the best clothes. I don't have the best hair, all these things. Why am I doing this? Right. So I still, I kind of tuned out those voices as best I could. And I went into that photo session, and I literally just had the best time ever because that photographer made me as a woman just feel so beautiful and feel so seen and loved. And I wasn't focused on the outside of myself. I was focused on who I was inside and who I was becoming, right? Like it was just a completely transformative experience for myself. And that's when everything changed and shifted in my business. So as soon as I got home, I just redid everything, and I started focusing really on how that feeling made me feel. I wanted every woman to feel that way. I know that there are so many other women out there that feel insecure when it comes to being photographed, and I did too. And I know that though, once we can step into it and kind of let go of all those insecurities and just be there and have fun with it, like how transformative that can be for us. So that was back in, what year was that? 2015, I think. So I think 10 years now going into it, I have been devoted to just photographing women and helping them see themselves very differently, change their relationship with their bodies, and just have photos of themselves where they feel just amazing and empowered and powerful. I think that's kind of the same thing. I just said it twice, but oh well, we're going with it anyway.
It's so important.
And just, having really just pictures of themselves that they love to see. So long story, but that's kind of the story where I got from where I am to where I am now.
So what would you tell someone who, is nervous to get in front of the camera or to have, photos of themselves? We're both in business, and being in business, it's important to show your true self.
You have to, right?
But, I know even being in video, there's so many people, can't we just get a character to be me? Or can't we just do that? So
or use AI for it or something.
Or use AI. So what do you tell people who, do want to resort to those means to literally hide themselves?
I tell them that people don't want to see a caricature of you. I mean, people don't want to see an AI version of you. People need to know, like, and trust you to be able to work with you.
And trust is a key part.
It's such a big thing. And if you're showing up in this way that isn't the real you, I mean, how is someone going to know, like, and trust you? So, I mean, that's where it starts, right? But I also tell them that, I've been there and felt exactly how they're feeling, felt those insecurities in my body and putting myself out there and being wondered if I'm going to be judged for how I look or how I dress or how my body is or how, like, all the things that we feel like we're going to be judged for. I sit down and tell them, though, that I've been there, I've done it, and I've got them, right? Like, I totally know how they're feeling. So, if they could just set some of that stuff away to the side a little bit and just show up with an open mind, like, we're going to have fun and I'm going to show them the best pictures that they've ever had of themselves. And it usually is enough to help, kind of quiet that voice in their own head. And, it will eventually come up again between the time that we talk to the time of their photo session. But I think I have changed everyone's perception of themselves throughout all the people that I have photographed, really help them see just how beautiful and amazing they are in the bodies and in the ages and in everything else that they are in.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Everyone that I know who has worked with you is just always so glowing for like weeks on end afterwards because of how you make them feel and how those photos look too. Everyone is so gorgeous, and
it's not just about a photo. It's really there's so many affirmations that come in these photo sessions as well. It's just a different experience because I'm constantly like, wow, you look amazing and beautiful, and giving so much love and kindness during those photo sessions. And so it's like when they get their photos back, they also remember that. They go back to those feelings, how they were feeling in those moments. And that's what they carry with them when they see those photos, right? So that's why they continue to feel that afterwards, because they remember all those affirmations and how amazing they felt in that moment too.
That's excellent. Yeah. And you mentioned that, making people feel good no matter even what their age is. And I know in business there's, 30 under 30, but you have a really fabulous program. What is it, 40 over 40? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yes. So So I am a woman who is almost 48 myself, right? So I started
fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you. I can hardly still believe it. But a few years ago, I started looking around and how old are you, Taylor?
I'll be 35 here.
Okay. So it might not impact you in the same way exactly, but once you kind of get over that age of 40, right? Like we kind of stop seeing, maybe we've put on some pounds, right? Like, as we age, like our bodies change and we get more wrinkles and we get more gray hair.
Kids stress us out more and then we get more
all,
wrinkles
all
and more
the things, right? We've had babies and our bellies aren't the same. And, so many things about our bodies and our lifestyles and our appearance changes as we get older. And we stop seeing our faces and people who look like us represented in movies and in magazines and in media and stuff like that. And, the age of social media and all of the AI that's available and all the filters that are available. It's just like, it's so much emphasis is put on looking younger, looking slimmer, looking,
plasticier,
blonder. Yeah, exactly. all those things. And so, but as I was photographing women, and because I'm over 40 myself, we kind of attract who we are. And so I was photographing a lot of women over the age of 40, and it's just like, they're so beautiful and so successful and giving so much of themselves back to their communities that I was like, I want to celebrate that. So about 4 years ago, that same mentor that I had been photographed by, she started talking to her photography community about photographing and really doing a project around women over the age of 40.
Oh,
so
wow.
I jumped on that as well. And so it was, women. So I photographed. So in 2021, I think it was. So it was coming out of COVID. It just was so popular right from the start. It was really created a community of women where I was photographing. I photographed 40 women over the age of 40. And not only did I photograph them typically for their brands, typically because I'm a business owner and I'm out in those communities, that's who comes to me for branding photos as well. But we're doing beauty photos, we were doing boudoir photos, some family stuff as well. But not only did we photograph them, but at the end of the year, we came back and we celebrated them all together. And you were there at that first celebration as well, doing video for it, right?
It was pretty much right out of, lockdown, COVID for the most part. One of the first events, I feel, where it was. Like everyone getting back together.
I remember I was still even nervous about having that many people in a room. At the same time, all the windows open and everything. It's like,
truck outside.
Exactly. So there was still some lingering stuff from that.
Yeah.
It was great, but we brought them all back together to celebrate all of these women. And so what I did is I converted my photo studio into like an art exhibition room, to like an art gallery.
Yeah.
And we did enlargements of all the women, put those up on the walls. I know you remember this.
Yeah. We'll make sure to put the highlight video in the show notes.
That would be awesome.
Page. So check the show notes for that.
Great.
Yeah.
We also included all the women in a magazine as well, as a custom magazine called Embrace Your Beauty. I changed the name from 40 over 40 to Embrace Your Beauty because I just saw all these women embracing not only their outer beauty but their inner beauty as well, and sharing that with the world. Yeah, I know. I just felt like it was more fitting.
I feel like over 40 is like a sub.
Exactly.
Embrace Your Beauty.
Exactly. It was celebrating women over 40. Yeah, exactly. But it felt like it was deeper than just women over the age of 40. It was deeper than that. Yeah. So that's why I changed that. But so we came together, and so they could all see themselves as not only artwork on the walls of a gallery where everybody is literally admiring this artwork, but then they could also see themselves as what they would look like, their picture in a magazine. And it was such a beautiful experience just to be able to see ourselves that way when we, when we're kind of in a society that doesn't value the woman over 40 as much.
Right.
And 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, my oldest woman, I had someone who was 80 who was part of the project as well. So from 40 to 80 is the whole gamut that we ran. So I did the project for 4 years, and with all projects, they ebb and flow. And so for this last year was the last year of the project for now. Maybe it'll come back one day, but just, as like with all things, like there's a peak of it and then it declines, and then, it's okay. We send it off with love and for all the beauty that it brought for those 4 years. And who knows, maybe we'll pick it up again, but it's such a beautiful remembrance that all these women will have, for forever. So so we did the last party in December. So, still just so much beauty and so much power, I think, came from that project.
Oh, definitely. No, I wouldn't be surprised if some people come knocking on your door here soon and say, hey, I really want to be a part of the Embrace Your Beauty project. What are you doing? I want to be a part of the Embrace Your Beauty project.
I know. I'm totally leaving it open to do it again. And so, we'll see what comes from it. So, and of course, I'm still doing all the photography and still doing everything that I was doing before, just not doing that project, the end of it right now. But we'll see what comes from it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good. So, since my audience is generally, business owners, entrepreneurs, what are some tips or what to you makes a quality, portrait photo for use for business, for your LinkedIn, for your branding and so forth?
Yeah, I love it. I think that I think that authenticity is honestly the best word that I can say. The best business portrait, I think, is something that shows who you genuinely are, right? Not who we think that we're supposed to be, but who we truly are. Whether it's, how we appear on the outside or the clothes that we're wearing or the pose that we're in or the expression that we're giving. So many people think that it just has to be like, our professional pictures have to be just this very generic smile. Okay. But to me, it's like, no, like let's show your
stoic seriousness.
And there's place for all of that, right? There is place for all of it, but we can also do our big silly smiles and our grins that might be uneven or, like gummy or something like that, because that's really joyful. So I think that just whoever you are as the most authentic version of you, whether you like to wear bright colors and big, prints and stuff like that, like we don't have to just be in black all the time when we're in our photos and it can just be whatever our personality is. And I think that because that's going to help your clients get to know you and the way that you show up with your gray hair or maybe you don't want to have makeup on or you like to wear big earrings or whatever it is about you that really just, helps to describe who you are. That authenticity is the most important piece of your branding photos, no matter what.
I love that. So would you agree then it's maybe not necessarily the best idea to be overly glam in every single brand photo, because then unless you are like that all the time.
Yes, exactly.
When you meet the person in person, they might have a disconnection because you're not as glammed up for them.
Exactly. I mean, so in my photo shoots, in my branding photo shoots especially, we always do hair, we always do makeup, but it's not, so many people start thinking of like glamour shots from like the 90s when we're like so done up.
And super blown out hair, soft features everywhere.
Or I say you're going to get lashes and they think that it's going to be like huge caterpillar lashes or something like that. And, as you know, with video, makeup for photos and for video is just different than our everyday makeup, right? So we do a little bit more, but it's never about making someone not themselves. So if it is someone who doesn't ever wear makeup at all, like we're not going to do a whole big face of makeup. I mean, we're going to do makeup, but it's going to still look very natural. If someone shows up all the time, they love makeup and they want to do a lot of makeup for their photos because that's part of who they are and that's how they show up as, absolutely do that. But I wouldn't ever go and put on massive lashes and red lips if like you never show up like that. Like I can't see you doing photos like that, Taylor, because like you just don't, that's not part of who you are, right? And that's just not how you ever show up as, right? I do sometimes, right? Because like I show up like that sometimes, and most of the time I'm not wearing very much makeup at all though. So my branding pictures are usually a mix of them both, where it's like I look like I'm wearing a little less makeup and then sometimes a little bit more because I do show up both of those ways. So it's truly, whether it's in what you're wearing or your makeup or your hair, it's truly just about bringing out who you are and making sure that you're working with a photographer who understands that as well, or a videographer or whoever it is, that's not trying to put you into a box and is letting you show up as you truly are.
Definitely. I highly agree with that because, again, when it comes to those sales meetings, those in-person meetings, you don't want to have a disconnection of who they thought they were talking to online to then, who you are in person. I completely agree.
Another really important point of that too is that a lot of men and women, but women especially, we like to use pictures of ourselves from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, when we were thinner and younger and all those things, right? But I also think that is doing a disservice also, because then you show up to a client call or in person and you don't look like that. And it's a little, I I know that there's no negative intention behind it at all, right? Because we like that picture of ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We want to use that, but I also think it's a little deceiving because you're not showing up as you are now. Like we age and our bodies change and our hair changes and it's all okay.
Yeah.
Right? We can be who we are now, and that's wonderful and good. We don't have to continue to hang on to who we were 10, 20 years ago.
As a Throwback Thursday post, show that photo.
Great. But that should not be your main LinkedIn profile picture.
Even if because it doesn't matter, but I know when I have those meetings, my brain is just disconnected for
Exactly.
a second. So I'm
It's
like, wait, am I talking to who I thought I'm talking? I'm then looking up the LinkedIn again. I'm like, wait, name, and then I'm not present.
Because you're not
with that
present.
person.
Exactly. I do the exact same thing when I do the exact same thing. It's like trying to put it together. Like, am I on the right call with the right person? Is that really the person who I talked to? And then after a while, it's like, okay, yes, it is. It's just a different looking picture of that.
Yeah, and you're fine.
But after that time, it's like maybe a minute or 2 minutes has gone by where I'm not present at all because my brain is like trying to figure it all out. So yeah,
Agreed.
I totally get it.
I'm right there with you. So tell me a tale you wish you would have told your younger self, and this could be your younger little girl self or just your early entrepreneur self.
Oh boy, I would tell little Carrie that she didn't have to be as perfect as she thought that she did. Perfectionism was a story that plagued me through my entire life of always trying to be perfect with my grades and perfect with everything. And there is a big reason for it because if I wasn't perfect in my family, sometimes that didn't, there were issues that came from that. But truly, the earlier that we can let go of this need to be perfect at everything and just live as our true authentic selves. I have a hashtag and a slogan in my business, real is the new perfect, right? Because being real, being authentic is the new way to be. We don't have to be perfect. We don't have to live up to someone else's standards and the way that other people tell us that we should be. For us to just truly start living as early as possible as our real authentic selves. And yes, it might be scary and, some people might turn away from us and all the things, but the earlier that we can learn that, the better off we're going to be in our life. I learned that at a much later age, like literally, like what am I, almost 48 now, like in my 40s, really. So it took me a lot longer to figure that out. And of course, I wish that I would have been able to grasp onto that concept a lot earlier in my life because it could have saved me a lot of heartache along the way. But I'm glad that I've gotten here now. I've done so much work to get to this point where, I think I live as authentic a life as I possibly can, sharing vulnerably and sharing freely my stories of how I got there. But I know that I was a very different person in previous lives because I held a lot of things in because I didn't want to look like I was not this like perfectly perfect person who had everything put together all the time. And I tell you, I am not, and I never have been. But I think if I would have learned that story a lot earlier, then I would have been a lot better off.
What helped you break free to be able to be vulnerable?
Oh man, I don't know that it was like one thing. I got married at 25 because I thought that I should. And then by 30, I was divorced. Because it was not the right thing for me, right? It was all these like you need to get married at this age. You need to be doing these things at these ages.
I do think women get a little bit extra of a time clock, and especially depending on your family structure. If they're looking for grandkids,
you need to start having kids at a certain age and all these things. Man, I didn't have a child until I was 41, right? Like you do not have to do it in any certain way other than the way that works for you and your lifestyle. But so I got married, I got divorced, and then I think shortly after that, I started seeing a counselor because I don't remember what took me to that counselor, but I just wasn't happy with my life and I was disconnected. I had an eating disorder. I was trying different things to help with that, just all sorts of things. And then I had that counseling relationship literally for 6 years. I saw the same counselor for 6 years. And during that time, I think was when I was able to start being more open and vulnerable. And obviously we were digging deep into a lot of things and a lot of stuff was coming up, and it's like, wow, like I don't actually have to live this way. So I truly don't remember what it was that like really was like that that point that got me to that. But I'm so grateful that I did finally have some insight to be able to go and do that, because it just changed my life forever. And I can't imagine going back to the person that I had been before. I like the person that I am today, and that's
I love the person you are.
Well, thank you. So do I, actually. Okay, not even like I love me too. And I'm proud of that, because I haven't always. I really did not like myself not that long ago too. Mm-hmm. So anyway, whatever you can do, I think, to start acknowledging that you don't really like the person maybe that you are, that you want to be doing things different, and then take some steps, whatever that is, seeing a counselor or just whatever it is, whatever you can do to get out of that, and to give up this kind of shoulds that you're living in, and just try to be as authentically you as you can possibly be, is just going to serve you so much better in life. Whatever you can do to get there, I would say do it.
That's awesome. And power to you for, just having the strength to seek for help, because so many people are afraid to. There's just that stigma that, there must be something wrong with me if I need to talk to a counselor. And there's nothing wrong with having a soundboard to talk to, a non-judgmental soundboard. So we need to be encouraged to use those tools. And so power to you for doing that.
Thank you. I think, I mean, obviously there's a lot of stigma around mental health issues. I think a lot more with men also. I think more women are open to getting help. I think that men should.
I think it depends on how you're raised. Because I was raised in a soldier mentality.
Oh, you were too.
You got a soldier on.
Yeah.
So, and I still kind of have issues with that a bit. I am not a very good nurse. So I'll just admit it.
Okay, well, no, that's good. I mean, it's good to admit. It's a good awareness to have for yourself. Yeah. So mental health is definitely, there's a lot of stigma around it. But the more that you can do to just realize that there's nothing wrong with you, right? Like, we all have stuff, don't we? We all have stuff, and it's just a tool to help us with that stuff. Honestly, I think everybody should be in counseling. I mean, whether it's marriage counseling, individual counseling, whatever it is, I think it's just a way to help. I mean, we all have stuff that we go through at some point in our lives, and it's just somebody to help with that stuff. So, it's all
a non-judgmental party person.
Exactly. And to help you look at things like in different ways that you haven't looked at it before, and to give you other resources and tools to help you through it. I mean, that's all that it is. So it's just a tool.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's excellent. So some tools that I love, come in forms of books or movies. So 100%. What's the favorite tale that you've ever read or heard? So your favorite book or movie?
Goodness gracious. Oh, there's so many of them. I would say, though, that my favorite book, I would have to say, because I read it every year, is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Is that one that you've ever read before?
I haven't. I'm going to have to write that one down. Big Magic.
Oh, man. It's just about creative living, and not creativity in terms of even arts and crafts stuff, but just like living your life in a way that feels really authentic to you, honestly. And there are so many great stories that she shares, and I don't know if you have read much on Elizabeth Gilbert or know much about her, but I actually have a tattoo. I have lots of tattoos, but this is a fun story. Can I tell a story since this is all about tales? Right? Okay. So Elizabeth Gilbert is a big author. She did Eat, Pray, Love. You've got to know. You've heard of that, right? Okay. So Eat, Pray, Love. So I love the journey that she was on, and one of the words that she used in this book was attraversiamo. So it's an Italian word. It's like the literal translation is to cross the road, but I saw it as like, just continue to take steps forward into the unknown. Like, you don't know where you're going to get to, you don't know where you're going to go, but you're just going to keep taking steps, and it's going to probably take you on some grand adventure, right? Is the way that I really saw this word. And so when I was in Italy a number of years ago, I actually, and when I was in Rome, got the tattoo attraversiamo on my arm.
Oh, good. So you got it done in Rome, so you know it's spelled correctly.
I did. Yes, exactly. I was on a podcast the other day, and they asked me about my first tattoo, which is this one right here.
Okay.
And it's some Chinese characters, and I hope that it says inner peace and happiness. I don't know if for sure it says that, but I hope that it does. But this one, I don't have to hope. Like, I actually know it was
authentic.
But the best part of the story is that a number of years later, so I used to photograph the NABO national events, and Elizabeth Gilbert was the keynote speaker.
Oh, wow.
And so I got to see her speak, but afterwards there was like a VIP gathering. And so I was also taking pictures. So she was right there with a person, and I would just take their picture. And so, you know, I'm holding my camera up like this, and I had it. And she's like, you know, not super close to me, but she's like, does your arm say Attraversiamo on it?
Oh, wow.
Yes, it does. So she came over and we got a picture together, and I posted on social, and she liked it. And it was like, I mean, one of those moments, right? I'm not,
That's awesome.
I mean, I'm not
That's
like one of those like big
cool.
celebrity people, but like she is
That's a cool story,
she
yeah.
just, I love her. I love her stories. She's a very good storyteller. I love her stories. And Big Magic, if you ever get a chance to read that one, it's a really great one.
Okay.
I am right now, I literally just started listening to the audiobook on the way here, called Let Them by Mel Robbins. Have you heard of that one?
I've heard of that. It's on my list. I have not gotten to it yet.
It's a good one too.
Okay.
So I'm currently listening to it, and it's already making a big impact in literally the 2 hours that I've been listening to it today.
Lovely.
So that's when it's kind of just like, you know, it's about, you know, just how we react to other things happening around us, and we can control no one except for the way that we think and feel and react to things. And so if something is happening, let it. But then we don't just let it, then we also look at like, and then let me figure out what I need to do, maybe to not be, you know, to not react to some of these things, or to change this, you know. So it's a really great book about just kind of like, you know, the way that we just letting go of control.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe only focusing on what you can control, perhaps?
Of course. I mean, we can only control ourselves, right? We literally cannot control anything except for ourselves. So focusing definitely on that and what we can control in life. Exactly.
Excellent.
Yeah. So.
Any favorite movies? You know, being in video, I obviously love, you know, movies and TV. So it's always curious to know what are some favorites of people.
I don't know. I mean, there's no like movie that I've seen recently that's coming up.
It doesn't even have to be recent. I don't feel like there's any like recent movie.
I mean, The Sound of Music is my all-time favorite movie. I don't know why. I love all the songs in it. I mean, not even like a big like you know, someone who loves like all the singing and dancing and movies and stuff like that. But I just love that one. I love the setting of it. I love the story behind it. I love all the songs in it. And
the songs are fun. I was in chorus when I was really, really younger, and those were definitely some fun songs.
Yeah, there's really no reason for it, but I love that movie. I will always sit there and watch that movie.
That's lovely. Yeah. You know, I do find a lot of times too, like, even though I love documentaries, it's like I'll use books for an opportunity for self-development or learning, or, you know, I'll do, you know, podcasts to learn. But then sometimes with a movie, like, you just want to enjoy. You just want to let loose. You want to just get into the story, just let it be fun, and, you know.
Exactly.
So I get that.
I mean, I look back at it now, I'm like, it's kind of a, you know, heavy story, what was going on and all that time and everything. so I mean, there is a lot of heaviness to it, but I don't know what it was. I just love it. But yeah, with movies, it's like you just kind of want to just turn off your brain for a while, right? Yeah. We're always constantly trying to learn and do personal development and business development, and how can we help our kids thrive, and all these things
and we
to learn
inundated
and grow.
With information,
and it can just be overload sometimes. So it is nice to just have those movies to just kind of turn them off and or turn our brains off. I was never a big like children's type movie person. Okay. But now that I have a 6-year-old, but we haven't watched a lot of movies with him, so we're getting to that point though. Right? You know, maybe, but we're getting to that point where I think he's like getting into it a little bit more. So I'm actually excited to go back and watch a lot of the more kids movies that I've never seen.
Which ones are you gonna expose to him first?
Oh, I don't know, but like Inside Out, the book or the movie about feelings, and Inside Out 2.
I wonder if that's too much for my kids.
I don't know, because my son has been learning about like feelings in school. Okay. So I mean, and our kids, our sons are about the same.
I don't need to teach James anxiety yet, though. That's, you know, sad,
right?
Mad.
Exactly.
Anxiety, that's a little
it's a little deeper. I don't know. I mean, we're gonna do like Kung Fu Panda and Soul and stuff like that.
James and Layla love all the Toy Stories.
Okay, good to know.
We, as a family, collectively love The Incredibles.
Yes.
And
Mitchell's vs. the Machines is our favorite family movie.
The which ones?
Mitchell's vs. the Machines.
Ooh, I don't know that one.
Oh.
Okay, I'll have to do that one. And then James has been lately super into Despicable Me.
Oh.
And there are so many. There's like
we've just watched
so many
1 and 2 of that one. Yeah,
there's
he
like
loves the
4 of
Minions.
those, and then there's like the Rise of Gru, and then Minions, and then the Rise of Minions. Like I'm like always like, how are there more things here of these Minion things? Like that's the great thing about stories. They can just keep on going.
Exactly. You just have a little story and you just roll with it, right? Yeah. Exactly.
Yes. So being a mom and being a business owner, you're able to kind of have your cake and eat it too. But for some, that might feel like a untangible, reality. Some people stay stuck in a W-2 world because they need to have their health insurances and all the things.
Of course,
so
it's important.
And sometimes, when people think of, you're a business owner, you get to control your schedule, it's like, yeah, but, I don't get my PTO, I don't get
yes, and I also work every single day, every single minute of every single day.
So for fellow, business owners, entrepreneurs, and also moms, what are some advices that you would give to them?
Oh, man, that's hard. I have a very different situation, I think, in the way that I am able to handle everything and do everything that I do. And that, so when I started my business, I did not have my son yet. Mm-hmm. So this was back in 2018. I went full-time with my business in January of 2018 and found out in April of 2018 that I was pregnant. Oh. And I was 40 at the time.
So you're like, hello.
Yes. And I was like, okay, this is going to change things a little bit.
Grow 2 babies at the same time.
So literally by the end of 2018, I had birthed that business full-time and birthed my child because he was born at the very end of December of that year. But what we did right away is that my husband took over the traditional female roles in in the family. Mm-hmm. And so he's the primary caregiver. He does, all the baths with my, all the bath times, and he makes all of our meals, and he's the drop off and pickup. And I mean, he does all those things that you typically think that women do in their roles, right? And I am the opposite. Like I am one out working and doing all the things all the time. And my husband, when my son is now in school, and so when my son is in school, my husband does work for me in the business, and he does retouching and a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So I feel like I have a very different situation than a lot of people do, in the fact that I have the support of my spouse 100% to allow me to go out and do what I want to do. So I come at it from a very different lens, I think, than most people. But I would say that if we get one life to live, right? Mm-hmm. And I'd say that if you're in a job that you don't like, and there's other ways to have insurance, mm-hmm. It's different and it's expensive and all the things, right? And
but you just plan it.
But you just plan it and you do it, mm-hmm. right? I mean, I
and just don't go to the hospital,
right? As little as you possibly can. Don't let anything happen to you like that. I mean, obviously we cannot control things.
We're at the park. I'm like, James, you're not allowed to go to the emergency room.
No. Please don't fall. Please don't fall. Please don't fall. Gosh, we say that we need to knock on wood or something like that. The older I get too, it's like we get this one life to live, and we have to live it to the fullest and be as happy as we possibly can. And sometimes that might bring difficulties in trying to get insurance or whatever not, but you can do it, and it's going to be challenging, and maybe it's not going to be as good as that cushy job. Trust me, I left a 6-figure cushy, great benefits job and went out on my own, and it was I was very naive to the whole process of everything, and it was definitely a big eye-opening experience for me. But it can all be done, and it might be scary, but on the other side of that fear and that scariness is so much goodness, mm-hmm. and such an amazing life that we could have. I would never go back to that life that I had before, even though there were some things about it that were maybe easier. Mm-hmm. I have more earning potential now. I get to work with fabulous clients who become my friends now, and get to do really fun things with other amazing women now. And my life is so much more full than it was when I was in that rut of just, showing up for my job. Mm-hmm. And again, it was a good job. There was nothing wrong with it. But when I was able to break free of that and do something truly where in my soul I felt like I was doing something good for the world, my life has completely changed since then. I am a different person from that, and I bring something now into the world that actually fulfills other people too. So anyway, I'm very happy with it. So I guess that's my only advice, is that it's going to be hard and it's going to be scary, and you can still do it, and it's probably going to be better on the other end.
Yeah, and I would say too, with being the whole business owner and mom and having some of the flexibility, like I know for my son, he was on set with me for probably the first year or so of his life. He would just go in the Bjorn and just be quiet. And if I would have had a regular JOB, I don't know if they would have
spend
allowed
that time
that.
together.
And exactly. And spending that time together is so important in the beginning, especially like all the time it is, especially in those first 8 years. And so
I mean, pretty much since my son has been born, my husband and I have been there for him all the time.
Yeah.
One of us. I mean, until he went to school, he was literally with us all the time. I mean, we did have him in preschool just to get a little, have him learn a little separation, exactly. But we got to be there for him all the time without having to send him off to someone else in his really early formative years. And we are so grateful to have had that opportunity. And if we would have both been in jobs, we wouldn't have had that opportunity. So there are so many, again, even though it's hard to get insurance and all the things, there are so many beautiful things that come from it other than those things. So especially around the time that we get to have with our kids, and they get to see us doing these things, right? So my son got a video camera for Christmas.
We did the same thing.
Did you? Yes. So I don't know if your son has ever watched these videos. If he hasn't, don't let him do it yet. But it's called Kids Toys Play. It's on YouTube or something. I don't know. Don't go there because it's kind of a mess. But it's where my son just watches kids play with toys, but then he asks for all of these toys.
So it's not called Kids Toy Play, but like I know.
Something similar to that.
Similar to that with like Bluey toys.
Okay. So my son likes to record himself playing with toys.
That's cute.
And instead of it's Kids Toys Play, it's Cohen's Toy Play. But so we're whenever I say mommy's a photographer, and he's like, I'm your videographer. So he's like seeing it, and it's maybe it's going to instill an entrepreneurial spark in him someday, and who knows, like maybe someday I can give my business to my son or something. Who knows where it's going to go? But I think that it shows him, especially in our household, when I'm in the more traditionally male role and my husband is in the, roles are changing, but that's kind of still how it's seen. Like he's just going to see a different version of what roles look like and what people can do. And I think he's just going to get
partnership really looks
exactly.
Like.
And I think he's just going to get a better world view of those things too, because we have done things differently a little bit. So
definitely. And something different too is that I know for myself, when I say that I work with my husband, a lot of people kind of,
right?
How can you handle doing that? Right? You're not killing each other. You're not going to get divorced. What's going on here? So, like yourself, you have the opportunity of working with your best friend.
We are together all the time.
Yeah. What are some, tips of advice, or is it just easy for you? Like I would say it's, pretty easy for me. I'm grateful that Eric is my complete opposite, which in a business and partnership sense, it works really well.
Exactly. Yeah. David brings so many things that I don't have within me into the business. Absolutely. A lot of the technical things for sure. He's the one who he's like the one who does all the research on everything. I'm more of like the, let's just do it. And he's like, let me do some research on that first so we can figure it out. He brings so many great aspects to not only our home life, but also to my business life as well. So, and yes, we get frustrated with each other sometimes, who
doesn't?
And sometimes I have to kind of be like, this is just the way that we're doing it. We just have to do those things sometimes. But for the most part, it works out really wonderfully for us. I mean, I don't know that it would work for everybody. I think it has to be certain personalities as well. But for us, it has worked out beautifully. And I'm grateful that we're able to do this life and this business together.
Yeah. And I think, since you mentioned, I didn't really know David's aspects of the business, but if he is that opposite, I almost find that consistently when there is that husband-wife duo that works together, it's like because they have to be opposite. Yeah. If you're trying to do the same thing and you want to do the same thing, then there's competition amongst who's doing the same thing better.
Exactly.
But if you know how to do something, and you just kind of let each other be and do each other's job.
Exactly. And it just adds to it, right? Yeah. Because then the things that you're lacking, someone else can kind of prop you up with their knowledge of it and stuff. So it works out great in our business.
Yeah, I would definitely agree as well. So
yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's your favorite animal with a tail?
I know. So I knew you were going to ask me this question, and it's really
You're allowed
funny.
To say whatever you want.
Well, no, but it's funny because I have traditionally for my whole life been a very overachiever and like had to get the answers right and all these things, right? So I was like starting to Google things. I'm like, I don't know what my favorite animal with the tail is. So I was like starting to like do all this research, and I was like, oh my gosh, just stop. So and I go back to my slogan, real is the new perfect, because I was like, I could give the perfect answer, and the perfect answer is a butterfly, and butterflies do have tails because it's all about transformation, and my business is all about transformation. So that's like the beautiful perfect
that's
answer.
like you looking up this isn't a job interview.
I know, but truly, like that's where my brain went first, and I was like, you know what, dogs. I mean, I know that that's like probably so many people say that, but
another point on Team Dog.
Are you not? You're a Team Cat. I mean, look at your shirt that you're wearing. Of course, you're on Team Cat. I love dogs. We have 3 dogs, and I have a funny story around my dogs. Okay. And can I share it?
Share,
this
please.
is all about tails. And this is why I was like, no, it's just going to be dogs. So we had 1 dog, and we wanted to add another dog. We had a little mini schnauzer, and so my husband went online and he found these other mini schnauzers that were available. So he and my daughter went and picked one up, and they were just little teeny tiny things, like 6 weeks. Oh. And probably about 3 months after getting that second mini schnauzer, we realized that he wasn't mini and he wasn't a schnauzer at all. They had shaved him to look like, you know how they just like shaved like the belly or the top or something?
Yeah, so it's just like the head.
To look like a mini schnauzer, but he wasn't mini. He was 4 times as big as our mini schnauzer, and he wasn't a schnauzer at all. He's just, I don't know what he is.
Some random mutt of sorts.
Some random mutt. So anyway, that is my first funny story about that. Like we totally got played. I mean, we love them both dearly, but it was just a funny story. And then we have a 3rd dog now, and the 3rd dog came to us because after we had 2 dogs, my daughter came, and she was, I don't know how many years ago, this was 9 years ago, so she was 10ish, and she says, can we get another dog? And we said, heck no, we cannot get another dog. We have 2, that's enough.
Yeah.
And she said, but I did all this research, and there's this shelter that is having this special this weekend where if you get a dog, then you get it for free. And then not only do we get a dog, but then it opens up the shelter to be able to take in a new dog. And we were like, dang it, the manipulation here. Yes, we can have a 3rd dog. So we went and got a 3rd dog after getting totally played by our daughter for that.
No, was this a true story?
It's totally true, though. Totally true.
We definitely, I'm a best friend. We're still best friends to this day. We definitely told her mom that if they didn't take in a cat, that it was going to get killed by some shelter. Totally not true. It was just someone giving away a cat.
That dog was going to be like, I don't know that dog was going to be killed, but I mean, it was like, but if we take this, then it gives the shelter more space to help others. And we're like, okay.
It does. It's true.
And the dog's name was Carrie originally. Mm-hmm. Her name is not Carrie anymore because it would have been a little confusing.
That would have been a little odd.
Just a little bit. But so I mean.
So what's her new name now?
Izzy. Her name is Izzy. Yes. Cute. Yes. Izzy. So we have Freddie and Bowie and Izzy. Okay. And those are our 3 dogs, and they are.
So it's the tales behind the other names.
Freddie, we just liked his name. He was a little dog, and we named him Frederick Wolfgang. I mean, very like important big name. And then Bowie, I don't remember where we came, but he became Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, right? So he became Bowie Amadeus. Okay. And then Izzy became Isabel Mozart.
I love it when they're super long and fancy.
Our daughter named Izzy. So yeah.
That is excellent. Yeah, currently I have a Xena. Warrior princess that is afraid of everything.
And these are cats, right?
These are cats. Okay. Yeah. So Xena, warrior princess, who's afraid of everything, and then Dash, who is extremely fast.
Okay, so one of them at least got a name that kind of goes with their personality.
Yes. Yeah. I always wanted a Xena. She's an all-black cat, and I always was like, oh, I'm gonna name like an all-black girl Xena. Yeah. And then I got her, and she growls. She'll like if she hears the doorbell, she'll growl.
Well, that's kind of
like she's gonna do
warrior
something.
princessy.
But then she'll like run away and she's growling.
We have dogs like that too. They have a lot of bark, but then like you come around and they're like, oh
no, we're not doing it. Well, this has been such a pleasure. If there was just, a final message that you would want to leave people, and this can be in terms of living your authentic self, it could be in terms of starting your own business, whatever it is, what would be that final message you'd want to leave with people?
I'd say something that I have been saying a lot lately. And this is more body image related in terms of like how we show up in our photos, but just how we are in our our body image affects us a lot in our businesses as well. It kind of goes hand in hand, because if we have a lot of dislike of our bodies, like we don't show up in pictures and on videos and on stages and stuff like that. So I think the biggest thing that I can say is that our bodies are literally the least interesting things about ourselves, right? Like, they literally are. Everything on the outside is the least interesting thing. And the most interesting thing about us is honestly our heart and our mind and the love and the light and the good that we put into the world. So I think if we can all focus on that a little bit more and less on the outer and more on the inner, whether it's the way that we're looking at someone else or the way that we're judging our own selves, like, I just think that this world is going to be a much better place. So I think that is the biggest piece of advice right now.
That's super lovely. I'm going to have all your links in the show notes, but just verbally let us know, what social media platforms are you most active on? Where could people stay connected with you so they know when you're possibly speaking at a future event?
Absolutely.
Or, to book a session with you?
Absolutely. So Karianne Mundstedt, I'm the only one out there in the world. I'm sure you guys are going to put my name spelling out there. I'm most active on Instagram and on Facebook. So find me there. But I'm on all the social media, YouTube, probably on Pinterest, I think, TikTok, all the things. Although I don't know about TikTok these days.
We'll see. Look at the show notes.
We'll see where that goes these days. But you can find me anywhere at Karianne Mundstedt or Karianne Mundstedt Portrait, one or the other, but you'll find me.
Perfect. Well, thank you again so very much
You're
for
welcome.
being here. Everyone, let's be more authentic and learn to love your true self, not just the outside, but really what's inside and, what your heart and soul is really saying. So thank you again.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you for watching Tales with Taylor. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the Financial Potion YouTube channel to never miss an episode.